Hello, welcome to Around the Town weekly interview. I'm Shelley, a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker. Today, in celebration of Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, my guest is Zheng, the president of Chicago Chinese American Association. Welcome, Zheng.
Hello, Shelley. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Oh, I'm so grateful you joined me today to share some of the great things you did at Chicago Chinese American Association. You know, there are almost 100,000 Chinese American in Chicago metropolitan area, right?
That's right. That's right.
And Chinese American is the largest ethnic group of Asian Pacific American.
Yes, in Chicago area. That's correct.
Right. Even nationwide, I think Chinese American is the largest ethnic group out of Asian Pacific American. So I'm so glad to have you today with me to tell us about the great things you did for our community. So first, can you tell us about Chicago Chinese American Association, which you are president of?
Yes, Chinese American Association Greater Chicago was established in 1998. This is like 21 years. I need to check my math. We have about 147 organizations associated with CAGC. The mission when the organization was established is to promote culture, educational, and economical benefit and relationship, enhance the ties, the friendships between our Chinese community and other community in the Chicagoland. So we serve the metropolitan Chicago area as well as the suburbs in Chicago. Like you mentioned, now we have 100,000 Chinese Americans in this area. And our organization is still growing. It started with 10 organizations, associate organizations. Now it's grown to 147.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
147 groups part of Chicago Chinese American Association. Can you enumerate some of the groups that part of it?
Well, basically, all the Chinese school, we have numerous Chinese school here, like also performing arts groups and also professional groups, like the science engineer organization, traditional Chinese groups from Chinatown. Some of them established have 100 years of history. So not only the new immigrants, which immigrant to Chicago area in the past 30 years, but also the groups from almost like 100 years ago when first Chinese American come to Chicagoland. So it's a mix of represents different backgrounds of Chinese Americans in the Chicago area.
That's great, with a diversified, background of different immigrants. That really make the community so vibrant. These days we cannot talk about anything without talk about COVID-19, right? It's really affect every part of our life. Watch the TV show by ABC News. There's a report about the donations by Chicago Chinese American Association of over 22,000 masks to local communities.
Yes.
So can you share with us how was it organized and how it has helped the communities during COVID-19?
Yeah, the COVID-19 started, as we know, started from China. In January, the Chinese community has already donated about over $100,000 of medical equipment to China. That was in January. Then starting end of February, the coronavirus began to spread here in the U.S. And as we are as a member of the community, we think we need to do something for our community as well. So at end of February, the CAGC and its associate organization began to promote and raise money to help the community to fight against COVID-19. Although 1/3 of the Chinese community the members are associated with like the restaurant and service industry, they were hit the hardest in the COVID-19. A lot of people lost their jobs, and so they're also in a difficult situation. But when we started promoting the idea, we need to help our neighbors as a responsible citizen. Within a week, we raised over $10,000, and eventually we raised over $30,000. Like you said, we have donated over 22,000 masks, not only to the Chicago Police Department headquarters, but also across the city. Donate to the north part of suburbs like Elk Grove Village, like Evanston, and many towns and cities here in west suburbs. We donate to the fire department and a police station in Naperville, Aurora, Bolingbrook, so across different towns and cities in Chicago. The reason we wanted to donate to the police department, because when we first read about the news, what happened in New York, there are over thousands of police officers got impacted by COVID-19, and that impact their ability to service the community, also to help to enforce the rule for lockdown. We do not want that to happen in Chicago, so we want to help and protect our police officers. So from that, we use a pot of money to purchase over 22,000 masks and donate to all the police officers across the city. And then we receive very positive feedback from all the police stations. So we receive like a note from police stations saying they're very happy to receive the donation. And now each of the police car has one box of masks they received from us. And we also received a personal note written by the 9th district, the commander from the 9th district of police station. So we received many positive feedback from the police stations. And that's just one of the things we are doing here to fighting against COVID-19. Not only the police station, but we also donate the face masks to the senior homes, the elderly. So not only we donating the face mask, we also raise money to donate about 3,000 meals to the elderly apartments to help those seniors who cannot go out at this time. They do not have the ability to go out, or they are afraid to go to the store to do grocery shopping. So we work with other organizations, the Chinese organization, to donate those meals to them. And also it helps our restaurants. Currently, a lot of restaurants were closed. They cannot afford the wages. They cannot afford to pay the people. So by donating the meals and also help them to pay for the workers, pay the food. So that's something we're doing as well. In addition to that, we are we look at across Chicago, the many food banks currently they're lacking the food, the money to fund to service those low-income families. We think we need to step up to help our neighbors as well. So we donate some money to the food banks to service,
awesome.
so service the low-income people.
It's really heartwarming to see how the community come together during this difficult time.
Right.
So for the donations, do you count on volunteers to help you? Or how was it organized and implemented?
For the like I said, for the food, we work with other organizations. We pay those restaurant workers and to donate and making the food. And for the face mask donation, basically our board members, we ask them to contact each of their towns police department to understand the needs for such donation. So those board members to help to make the donation happening. And we are very grateful that we receive many donations, the fund donations online and through the mail from our community, and we thank them very much for the help.
That's great. You know, face mask was so hard to get these days. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
in Northbrook, we have a Chinese American group. Almost every Chinese family here donated. We actually bought those masks from China. We did
Uh-huh.
quite a bit of research to find the really qualified suppliers for those
Yeah.
masks. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures. It's very nice, and I saw the different families donate and deliver those face masks to the hospitals, and very
Right.
touched by what are you doing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. My last question is, are there events that Chicago Chinese American Association is planning for the future? I know now it's hard to do anything because COVID-19. Um, after after COVID-19 is over, do you think we may do some activities later this year?
Hmm. Well, it's right now, like you said, it's everybody's on the quarantine and the lockdown. It's difficult to plan for the rest of the year. But however, like you mentioned very beginning, this is a month of Asian Heritage Month.
Right.
I remember last year, the Asian Heritage Month, we also marks the 150 years anniversary of the Chinese railroad workers
Right.
built the railroad for the U.S. and which modernized the America. We did an exhibition, a photo exhibition in Illinois State Building, Thompson Center. We want to show the mainstream and everybody how much the Chinese American has contributed to the country. We also pushed the resolutions through for the Illinois state to commemorate the date every year this time to remember what American Chinese had did for this country.
Mm-hmm.
We also did invite a professor from Stanford University to did a exhibition and a talk in Chicago for this part of the history. And this year, although we are all under lockdown quarantine, we just promoted a documentary made by PBS called Asian American. We want everybody to watch the documentary to remember this part of history. History is a mirror reflecting what happened before, and also right now because of the COVID-19. Nationwide in the U.S., we heard many cases against Asian American, Chinese American. We want to prevent those things happen here in Chicago. So at this time, the CAGC, our organization, has contacted the local police department. We have contacted the government officials like Senator Dick Durbin and our Alderman, State Representative Teresa Ma, all those people, and also the Sheriff Department here in Chicago, to make sure that those things, the harassment will not happen here in Chicago against Asian American, Chinese American. We have published all the contact information from the state, from the city to our community to make sure everybody understands we have the right to preserve our right, and we also need to fighting anything against the harassment against Chinese American. So I think that's very important. We continue to contribute to the society, but also we need to fighting for our right. And talking about Asian months, although we are locked down and under quarantine, we continue to contribute to the community. Today, actually, that was yesterday. We donated about 100 lunches of the lunch box to University of Chicago Hospital. We want to thank our first responders for their contribution and help fighting against COVID-19. And we are about to donate $10,000 to the city of Chicago to support the COVID-19 Response Fund, which set up by Mayor Lori Lightfoot to help those most vulnerable people and who cannot pay the rent, who cannot bring the meals to the family at this time. So we want to make sure the Chinese community efforts will be recognized by the city. This is the Heritage Month. We will continue to contribute to our society. In terms of event, probably at this time we will, it's hard to plan what will be happening in the remaining of the year, but I'm sure we will continue to work on, and whenever we whatever we can to fulfill our mission, which is to build Chicago as a better home for all of us, including the American, Chinese American, Asian American, and for all of us.
Absolutely. I'm so impressed by everything the organization has done. It's really the proactive measures you've taken.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful for everything our organization has done. And also for the documentary film, could you share the title or the film with me later?
Definitely, definitely. This is the Asian American documentary. It's being published, broadcast by PBS in the past 2 days. And I think we all need to watch that, reflecting what happened in the past and to learn how do we deal with the current situation, the challenging situation we have right now.
Okay. So what's the main, the CCGC has a website?
Yeah, we, you know, in Chicago, there are quite a few very good Chinese newspaper. They're in the story of what are we doing. In the mainstream, like you mentioned, our story being reported by ABC News 7 as well. And in the coming week, I think next week, ABC is going to run a story called Asian Influence. It's going to be published. They will publish our story as well. We have the email distribution to all of the community members in Chinese organization in Chicago. So basically, anytime that when we have an event, we'll send emails to all organizations, like I mentioned, 144 organizations, to tell them what we are doing and encourage them to join.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thanks so much, Zheng. It's such a joy chatting with you today, and I will later on follow up with you to get information on the film and some of the activities you may schedule or planning later on, so you can share with everybody. Thank you for all you've done for our community, and I'm just very proud of you and for all the information you share with us today.
Well, thank you, and good to talk to you. Take care.